Okay, I don't know what's going on tonight. I already turned the camera off. I've turned off all programs in the background. I get very bad audio on my end. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
I actually hear you pretty
I
well.
can hear you. Yes. Hello, everyone.
All right.
I'm supposed to be the leader today, but we have really big problem with this technical issue. So I don't know if any one of you want to give a short review or a brief about this case. I made some notes. It was really complicated because I don't used to have big knowledge about the sport. Maybe it's better for you guys. The big problem here was the difference between the owners of the team. They are thinking on money all the time, and the player is not all about money. They really want to play. They love the sport. They love the hockey. But they can make agreements. They are always differences. And they didn't trust each other because the owners don't want to give disclosure of the revenue. It's like they hiding numbers. There are so many negotiations. They offers different proposition, but it's hard for them to go to common ground. So to decide what is really happening. As far as I read, the community, because a lot of the stores depend on the hockey, the restaurant, the bars, and the people in general, the fans, and in favor of the owners of those teams, not the players. This is bad for them. So all the cases studied is about fighting between these two teams. They make a strike, they make lockout, and as far as I read yesterday, they'll still I had this discussion. They can get a good negotiation. I don't know. Is someone want to add something else?
Sounds good to me. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, Alan is asking if we can invite him to the video call. Sent a link a little while ago, but he hasn't joined. Isn't there a way, Liliana, that you can invite him from within the call?
Your mic's off, Liliana. I can't hear what you're saying.
Just messaged back. He said he's trying it on his phone, but it's not working. But I think up on top, there should be some options for you to invite someone, Liliana.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
All right, that worked. I don't. That was weird because it always worked before. So it's because I received Liliana's call, I think. All right. Well, let's do this quickly then. I'll just read the questions that there are here for the group leader. It says, what do you see as the root cause of the problems it identified in the case? that's the agenda for the group discussion. So the question is, what do you see as the root cause of the problems identified in the case? Well, isn't it one of the big problem the cap salary that they want to impose on the NHL players, right?
In my opinion, the biggest issue is that the players simply, or the union and the players simply don't trust the owners and the league, and they don't feel that they're reporting their finances in a truthful manner. They feel that they are underreporting their revenues and reporting their expenses, and making it look like they don't make as much money as they actually do. And I guess for the owners in the league, they just feel that they carry the burden, and players, are just raking in, want to increase in salary, but are not really willing to carry any of the risk. So I think the biggest issue is trust between the two parties, or lack of trust.
Good point. Yeah. Anybody else want to share something regarding that?
I think that there's some pride issues at hand here. The main negotiators for both sides of the issue, it seems like they're not willing to give any at all. And then when you take them out of the picture, it seems like negotiations are able to move forward at least some. So it does mention that just from the get-go in the case study that it's really both of these people that represent both sides of the discussion, the argument, they both have a reputation to defend, and I don't think they're willing to give up. And that doesn't work when it comes to negotiation. That you got to be able to compromise and come to a solution. So I think that is holding up the process in a serious way.
Yeah, I believe that they got any understanding for the owners of the team, because they are all businessmen. They are not the main source of the income, the hockey. Maybe they don't have experience with the sport. So they I think on money all the time. This is a tough game. I was watching some videos. One of the things that I really was strange for me, they say that before the union, they don't even use the face masks. They say the goalies or the goalkeeper for me. They don't have any safety or protection. The owner of the team didn't care about that. So helmets or all the stuff that we know now for the team, but before the union, they receive any kind of consideration when they are the one that make the money. I know the percentage they receive regarding revenue is the highest. Another sport like baseball or soccer or football, receive less percentage of fees. But they need to make a better negotiation. As we read in our book, all start with trust. When they didn't trust each other, why they can accept the percentage of revenue when they say they lied to us? They say that they have this amount of money, but maybe they don't consider the parking or the others deals that this business have, like marketing, all the t-shirt and all the stuff that they're selling. So they need to start working on trust each other better.
Thank you, Liliana. Okay, so the second question is, how would you describe the culture of the NHL? The strength and weaknesses. Well, I think I don't know from the case study, from the reading, what I saw is that, well, both parties, right? Either the NHL owners or the players, they most of them, I guess, will be there. It seems like they're there more for the money than for the game, right? To get what they want. So, for example, the NHL owners, they're willing to cancel games, right? To impose like not letting the players play as long as they get what they want. And the NHL players, well, they're like the same, kind of the same way, right? Like, well, we're fine with not playing if you're gonna put us a cap or on our salary or whatever, right? However, I do understand it's a business, but I don't know. I feel well, it is a business, right? What do you guys think? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the culture of the NHL?
I think that the NHL, compared to a lot of the other professional sports, is pretty young, and I think they're trying to identify or experience a cultural change. Specifically because it seems like before the union was built, the players had very little say or very little influence on the way the game was played. And not only that, but all the legal and financial things that come behind it, and so it seems like the union came in and all of a sudden had power and was able to make a lot of things happen and take a lot of control, and then now the NHL board is trying to come back and take that power, and I feel like it's a power balancing act right now. They're trying to find a happy medium, and that's not something that they're used to. So I think this is a growing pain issue, but I definitely think that the biggest issue in the culture is that there's not a complete buy-in between both parties, both sides of the issue, and they haven't agreed. Not everyone is on the same page as far as what their goals are, where the players are about the game, but they also want money. Obviously, if it wasn't about money at all for them, then this wouldn't even be a conversation, right? They're making a lot of money, many of them in the millions. I mean, most normal people don't make that kind of money. So they're making enough, but they still want more. And so they're so focused on that they can't trust the NHL organization, and then the organization is trying to push back after losing so much control, and they don't trust the team players, as we were saying. So I think that the culture is toxic, and there needs to be a buy-in across the board for them to be able to have success as an organization.
Thanks, Caleb. All right, for a matter of time, I think it would be, since we started late, we'll just continue with the next question. The next question says, what are the best ways to strengthen a BATNA?
As far as I learned, this BATA is the best alternative to a negotiate agreement. That is difficult because they, as I say, they need to start trusting each other. They can start do any negotiation in that way because they deny any proposal that the other teams have. They are totally against accept what they want. They are always in different numbers. For example, if they want as far as I read, the league, 700% increased revenue in those years. This is billions of dollars. And I know the players, they say only they have 6 to 5 players in a game, but they have to have a staff of 50 to work. So all these people need to earn money. And they are like at different levels. I like the negotiation that the union proposed to reduce the earning 24%. I don't know when they say it, and not reduce the lower level of the players. Yes, 24% roll back to higher salaries. But even this was not accepted for the owners. They want to put a salary cap for the rookie. It's like speaking different language. they can make agreement. It's a really difficult situation.
Thanks, Liliana. Okay, the next question would say, it says, is it possible to change another person, ZUPA, why or why not? So ZUPA is the zone of possible agreement. So is it possible to change someone's ZUPA, why or why not? Well, I think the reading is an example of this question, right? I mean, yes, there's a way to change another person's ZUPA, zone of possible agreement, since at the end the players decided to, yes, we're gonna accept a cap of salary. However, now the deal is what is well, they're in that negotiation. What is the cap that they will agree upon, right? Because now NHL, I think from the reading, says 50 million, and then the owners wanted like 42 millions or something like that. So no, it's a matter of negotiating, I think. Anybody else with a comment on this?
Yeah, I think it involves educating the other party about your circumstances and your limitations. I have to constantly educate my customers or potential customers that, you know, just because I work for Coca-Cola doesn't mean I have access to millions of dollars of funding and I can give them anything they want for free. It has to be a mutually beneficial relationship. And I think once the other party understands that it has to be give and take, most of the time it's much more likely to find an agreement that works for both parties. So I think to change somebody's zone of possible agreement, you have to do some digging, you have to ask some final questions, you have to learn to understand the other person's point of view. Sometimes their demands may be purely emotional, or they may have other needs that are not necessarily part of your deal, but they got to make up for a shortcoming in another area. And so once you understand that, you can reply better to their demands, and then, you know, try to find something that is mutually beneficial.
Yes, also the league have an intent to hire a third party audit with the levy report, but the player didn't trust them because the league was in charge of
Liliana, you're on mute.
sorry. I was talking about the levy report. The owners hired this company to do an audit on their books and to see if the revenue is real or not. It's a good intention, but the player said that the result is misleading because it was a company hired for the league, it's not some company that both agree to intervene or to do the audit. So yeah, this report was not useful for the players.
Thanks, Liliana. Okay, the next question is, what barriers would you seek to remove and how specifically? So what barriers would you seek to remove and how specifically?
I think to me, one of the biggest barriers is the way the league claims that they're honestly reporting their finances. I think to remove that barrier, or one possibility to remove that barrier, will be for the union and the league to agree on a third-party auditor that is impartial, and both the union and the league, go 50-50. Paying the cost of the auditor and have a third-party independent auditor look over the books and give an honest reporting on the finances of the league.
I agree. I think that would be huge, and then I think that after the audit's done, that there has to be an agreement in place that. Actually, before the audit is started, there has to be an agreement in place that if the audit comes out proving that all finances have been reported correctly, then the players and their union have to be able to give something and say, okay, now we know you're telling the truth. We trust you. This is what we're willing to give on that, which is, agreeing to a certain salary cap or something. And then if it's not honest, then there needs to be whatever the players' union demand is, there needs to be. I just think that, okay, if they're not reporting honestly and they've been claiming they're reporting honestly this whole time, how can the team trust them? And whether it's the resignation of the person that is claiming they've been honestly reporting this whole time or something, but there has to be a way for the team to be able to move forward from that, or the players' union to be able to move forward from that point, because if they come out and it's like, oh, it wasn't honest, here's the truth about it, then obviously the players' union is not going to want to negotiate fairly. In that case, they're going to use that and hold that over their head. So there's got to be give and take. There's got to be a plan in place, I think, and get that third-party negotiator or the auditor in there and settle this once and for all. It really surprises me that it's taken so long to get to that point. But yeah, I agree on that point.
All right, thanks, guys. The next question is, what would you do if you were the NHL Players Association to resolve the situation? Would it work? Why or why not?
I guess I need to start renegotiate his contract in particular. Try to negotiate with it, because the players want to play. They really want the game. They have passion for this sport. If it's not understanding how they suffer all these injuries. It's tough. So they really want to play. So if they can make an agreement, a new contract with them, and of course, you say, guys, it's very important they make more transparency in their books. They show, okay, this how much this cost me to keep the team alive, because it's about hotels, traveling, is buildings, it's lots of stuff. It's so expensive, but they need to show, okay, this is how much we spend to each season. This is how much we gain. So this is the profit. We need to create a different system that is good for all of us.
Thank you, Liana. I feel the other, the other question says, what would you do if you were the NHL in order to resolve the situation? I think it's basically what Caleb and Herb talk about, right? So try to find a mutual agreement between the two parties, right? Like what can benefit the players as well as the NHL. When I read that question, I was like, maybe give some benefits, but at the same time, I'm like, well, there are NHL players who win, who earn ton of millions, so benefits. I don't know if they would need benefits like dentists or stuff like that, since they have so much money, right? But I don't really know what would they, besides trying to be honest and, like Herb said, be well, what I understood is like maybe be transparent. What else do you guys think maybe the NHL could do in order to resolve a situation like we read in this case?
No, yeah, I agree. I think that the key is for the NHL to become more transparent, and then I think the players' union needs to be more flexible, because if they're in it for the same goal, they all want to be successful. They all want the league to grow. They all want to build a bigger fan base. Then dollars and cents at the end of the day have to add up, and if the numbers come out and they know exactly how much the NHL is making, and then they can agree to take a salary cap, because they know, okay, it costs so much to run this business, and this is how much money they have left, and from that we can pull our salary. So they got to be fair. They got to be able to negotiate and give and take. As appropriate. So.
But I think you still have to remember that these players are employees of the owners. They're not part owners. They don't have any investment in the arena, in the financial risk for a team. They're just employees, and it's not a publicly held company or publicly held teams. They are privately owned, and while I agree, sharing that financial information would make it easier to reach an agreement. I don't think that not that you said that, but I don't think that the owner. I think the attitude of the players and of the union to assume that they deserve more or that they deserve to have access to all the financial information, I think that's a little selfish, a little cocky,
I think they forgot the responsibility they have with their community. I watched some video that say even the mayor of the city was talking to the players and the owners of the team to stop all this strike and everything and start the game again. This lack of event, as I said before, the restaurant, there are a lot of associated with this. It's not doing the game, no. Not only the player and the league is affected.
Yeah, I think Liliana, community responsibility is in a perfect world and a perfect business is something that is taken into account. But I agree with her. But I think that these players aren't thinking about the bottom line, and they are being selfish. And I don't know that it is fair for them to ask for all the financial records, but they are claiming from the get-go, that you guys make so much money, and we know you're making more money than you're saying you're making. So we think that we deserve a bigger piece of that. And I don't know that there's a way that the owners can get around this whole situation unless they're more transparent. Just because players are going to keep asking for more, and then they can't make any money. And so I do definitely think that a lot of this boils down to greed, and because like we're talking about, these players are making millions of dollars, and nobody needs that, but they want it, and that's what it comes down to. Everyone just is trying to make a buck. So I know that I have personally gone in and asked for a raise, and I've been told in the past that they can't afford it, and I honestly couldn't buy that because I know how much money the company makes, and I don't believe that they can't afford to give me a small raise. But I would buy into it better if they would show me the financials of why they can't afford it. So it's not something that they have to do, but if they want this problem to go away, then I think that's a big way, to make it happen.
Yeah, I like one of the last graphic. They say they take almost 80% of the revenue. So it's a big piece of the business. When, for example, the baseball is 70%, 68%. So I guess we need to reduce the salaries to be more like other players.
All right, thank you guys. The last questions will be connection to the gospel. So, for example, what gospel concepts are pertinent in this case? What gospel concepts are pertinent in this case? When I read this case, I didn't really pay attention to that, but now that I think of, maybe. Oh, I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna go with something maybe. Hello? Okay, sorry, I thought it didn't work my mic. So maybe a gospel concept could be not humility, but maybe patience, patience for that kind of mutual agreement that everybody's trying to get on. I don't know what else to. I didn't really think of this question for this case. Do you guys have any maybe? Do you guys have any thoughts on how this case can relate to a certain gospel concept?
Well, the Book of Mormon is plenty of story of contention between the Lamanites and Nephites. So, and you know what happened at the end. So it's better to make better agreement.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, thank you, Liana. Anybody else?
We're just taught to be honest in our dealings with our fellow men, and I think that there is at least suspicion for dishonesty in this case, and that's causing part of the problem at least. And so if they were able to get over that, if they could learn to trust each other, then that would make a big difference.
Excellent, thank you. Any last comments that you guys have regarding this case, or anything else that we didn't talk about that you guys maybe wanna share?
Yeah, I was just reminded again from this case study that it is vitally important in any negotiation, in any relationship, to make sure that the other party understands your priorities, what you're trying to accomplish, what you need out of the relationship or partnership, but that you, on the same token, also understand what they want. And to me, again, it comes down to communication, and especially having been in sales for the last 20 years, really getting to know your customer and getting to know the other party, and aside from the agreement, actually building a relationship and having conversations, because sometimes there are things that you find out that are not part of the sales negotiation, but just in a conversation you find out what's important to the customer, and he may not even realize that he wants that would make the agreement better for them. But sometimes I find out, just silly things that I could give to the customer without cutting my bottom line, but it was of greater value to the customer than it was to me, and finding an agreement that works for them.
Thank you, Herb. I think I worked once as a salesman for a construction company. Yeah, sales wasn't for me. Not a good seller. All right, guys. So that would be it, I guess, for the group discussion. Would somebody be able to send a link to Brother Frizz?
Liliana's got to end the call and then save it.
So you just end the call and then you save it? Do we need to send it to Brother Frizz then, or no?
No, yeah, she has. Well, I mean, she's going to have access to the link. I don't care who sends it, but usually it's the group leader for the night. So I think that's you, Ellen.
Oh, okay. So basically, that same link that you guys send me, I can send it that link to Brother Frizz? No,
you got to send the actual YouTube link, and you can only get that from Liliana. Because what's going to happen is she's going to stop recording this. It's going to upload the video. Actually, she just disappeared, so I think after we close this, it will automatically turn it off and upload the video to YouTube, and then she's got to go to her site, pull it, email it to you, and then you can.
Okay, I'll talk to Liana then.
I don't think he has to send it to the teacher, though. He just posts it in the study group, right?
Yeah, you got to submit it in the discussion board.
We just have to say that we met in the discussion board?
Sorry. No, in the discussion board, you need to put that link to the YouTube video.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So I'll ask that to Liliana. Liliana, would it be okay if you can send me that link?
Yes.
Whenever.
So what am I supposed to do? I need to stop the broadcast?
Yeah, so you can go ahead and stop it. I think we're done.
Yeah.
Okay, stop. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
All right, send that link to me, Liliana, please.